need your money, you can pay me in respect. Cause once I do it big, what's to follow? It's a check. I need 100 bags, nothing more, nothing less. And the ops feel away, cause I'm next, I'm a threat. Oh yeah. Really, y'all don't know this, y'all in danger, I'm a threat.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Elevate with Scott Handley. I have a special guest with me today. I have the pleasure of being in business with this gentleman as he's my business partner, loan officer, Sal Pulido. Thanks for coming to my podcast, Sal.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you on. Definitely was trying to seek you out to come on my podcast because you bring a lot to the table, Sal, and I noticed that right away when you stepped into Western Pioneer. So, let's dig right in.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. It means a lot. But yeah, I'm glad I'm here. I'm happy to be here, and I can't wait to see what the future awaits.
Yes. So let's kind of back up a little bit, Sal. So you do bring about 10 or 11 years of banking experience to the table, and then on your fourth year as a loan officer, I believe. So
3 years.
3 years. Can you tell us maybe a little bit about your journey, starting with the banking?
Yeah, so I was banking with Wells Fargo for a little over a decade, and I learned a lot there. Great teachings, great knowledge that I've from coaching there. Nothing bad to say about Wells Fargo at all, but everything is just great. From learning from customer service, to learning how to talk to people, computers, knowing how to answer phones. It's all beneficial because that's exactly what I'm doing now, right? Different programs, different softwares, and without Wells Fargo, I wouldn't be where I am now.
That's awesome. A lot of the skills carried over.
They sure did, and I just grasped everything that I learned there and kind of implemented it on my own way of doing things, here in the mortgage industry.
Right.
And now I'm 3 years in, and I'm loving it. I love the freelance, that I can come and go whenever I want.
Sure.
If I need to take the kids to a dentist appointment, to a doctor's appointment, if maybe I just not feel like working a day, I can take that day off. So probably the best choice I made so far in my career. I just wish that I would have known about the mortgage industry a little bit sooner, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So, because you've seen both sides of the equation when working for Wells Fargo, that's the corporate hustle, if you will. So you got to see that and then transition over now to your own entrepreneur avenues here as you're pursuing mortgage loan origination. So you got to see the best of both worlds. So it seems like you're liking the freedom and what mortgage loan origination can offer you on this side as a broker.
That is 100% correct. Yes. Again, I emphasize the, I feel that I'm a little spoiled sometimes. Again, I come in a little bit later sometimes, but always showing up. I always try to show up at the office as opposed to asking for permission to do something at work, right? Such as just stepping out to, go pick up your kid from school because they got hurt, right? But I'm loving it so far.
So it's freedom that you like about it.
100%. It's the freedom.
Right.
Yes.
And you mentioned just because you roll into the office, let's say late, doesn't mean you're already probably working 3-4 hours off your phone, off of, your home office and stuff. So don't be so hard on yourself because I'm sure you're already putting in the work before you have office arrival time.
You are right. So from the moment that I wake up, I don't know if it's a good habit, a bad habit. I guess it just depends on the person themselves. But, we do check our notifications, see what's going on from, the moment that you went to sleep, from the time that you wake up. And as you know, in our industry, we can get a automated email from a title company, from even an underwriter, right, at 3:00 in the morning. And so, of course, we want to make sure that we check our mail appropriately.
Yep.
And respond accordingly too. So yes, I do start as early as 5:30 in the morning. That's when I wake up to go to the gym. And if I'm not answering emails there, it's throughout the time until I get here. So you're right. When I'm here, I'm 100% focused at work, but that doesn't mean that I'm not working while I am at home. Correct. So a little bit of, structure and getting to know, when to work at home and when not to work at home. So
Right. And you've mentioned you're more of an office guy too, because I know some people they look like the freedom of working out of their home. But you mentioned you do like coming into work and you also have a 35-minute commute. Is that correct?
that's correct. Yeah. So normally it's about 27.
Got it down to the minutes.
Yeah,
Nice.
27.
Yeah.
I know I have to. 27-minute drive over here on average. It's great. It's my alone time, I guess, in a way. It's just me by myself and get to listen to one of the things that I love to do the most, which is listen to music. I love music. And so by the time that I get here at the office, it's it's game time. It's work, work, work. So yeah, no, I am an office person. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the camaraderie here, right? Getting to see other of my fellow colleagues, just hearing them out while they're doing some calls or just hearing scenarios that they're going through. It teaches me plenty as we go through every day here at work.
So putting yourself in the right environment is important.
Correct. Yeah, and I'm not saying that home is the wrong environment. It's just, to me, I feel more comfortable, more productive here at the office.
Yeah, I could attest to that as well because I'll get distracted and just have to have maniacal focus over here. So you were in the banking industry. I'm curious, what was Sal's first job?
Oh man, you're gonna take me way back to when I was like 13 years old. If you want to be specific,
Nice.
I actually was 13 years old, and I got the opportunity to work at a cherry field right next to where we lived out in the country. I'm a country boy, by the way, and since 13 years old, I've been working the fields, the cherry fields, and when I turned 16. I worked at the CCWF, which is one of the women prisons in Chowchilla, and
Interesting.
yeah, ever since there, I've just been working. During high school, I worked at Subway, and a couple of the jobs in between, and here we are.
Well, one thing I noticed right away when you stepped foot over here at Western Pioneer, Sal, was your work ethic. And that's great to hear that it stemmed all the way back to 13 years old. So you were in the cherry fields where you picking working under the hot California sun there?
That's correct.
Wow.
I mean, the only shade that we really got was the shade off the tree. But once you got to the upper level of the tree, when you had to climb the ladder, it's your full sun. So, yeah. So I did a little cherry picking, so to speak, and then pulling the hoses that of course, fed the water to the tree. So, technically, the two jobs that I had.
Do you think that has carried over to your work ethic and why you have such a strong work ethic is because you had a very strong foundation?
I 100% agree with it in many aspects, and we can start by saying that it all starts with punctuality, right?
Mm-hmm.
The owner of the field, he wanted me there at a certain time. Well, that means that I had to wake up at a certain time to be there at a certain time, and then of course, then you get to reap the benefit of working hard, right? At 13 years old, I was getting some kind of income, and
Yeah.
at 13 years old, I was buying myself what I wanted, and so. To me, it's like once you see the work that you put in coming back to you in return, then it just makes you that stronger minded person. Like, what you need to do, right? You need to do your laundry because you were out in the field all day, and you need to, you need to wash, you need to dry, you need to wake up early, you need to set up alarms. So from an early age, it did teach me a lot. And again, without it, maybe when I worked at the women's prison, I would have started all over.
Mm-hmm.
But because I started at 13 years of age, it helped me, transition into an easier work ethic at the women's prison.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense. And, I'm curious to dig a little bit deeper on that, where did you find that drive? Do you feel that drive is innate? Were you born with it? Or, did you see your parents or a brother? Because not a lot of 13-year-olds are thinking about, going to work and providing for themselves and, laundry. They're out just trying to probably find their way in the world and, maybe doing sports and stuff like that. Where did you find that drive at such a young age?
That's a good question. I would say that it was a little bit about me. A lot of my really close friends, and maybe some of you here already at work, do probably have realized that I'm a type A personality,
Uh-huh.
so I do need to have everything in place and
Structured order. Yeah.
structured, yeah, and so on and so forth. So part of it is that just being in me, but also it's my parents. From
Beautiful.
my parents, pretty much said, "Hey, look, these are your chores.
Mm-hmm.
Do them, whenever I was scheduled to do them, whether it was a daily chore, a weekly chore, whatever the case is. Once I got done with those chores, then I can do whatever I wanted to do, whether it was playing outside, right, with a basketball or some sticks, whatever the case was, or playing some video games as I got a little bit older. The thought of doing the work again to be able to do what I really wanted to do. So the reward,
Yeah.
to me is like I grew up knowing that I needed to do something in order to get something that I really wanted in return. So a little bit of both.
So never had a silver spoon, never had a handout, really was raised that you earn your keep. You reap your rewards. What you put into something is what you get out. And
100%.
I feel that's transposed into why you are very successful to where you're at today. So, I mean, that's very inspiring, Sal, to hear us at such a young age that you identified these traits and were disciplined with these traits to carry you forward to where you're moving today. So that's pretty amazing, and I love to hear that your parents had a profound impact on your work ethic and the way you were raised. So, I really admire that, and I do the same too. Your why is usually your family. Now, moving forward, being that you have a very strong work ethic, where does balance come into play? You're a family man. You also, got to have some time for yourself. So, can you talk about maybe work life and family life balance? How does Sal handle that?
Yeah, so that is very important to me, and I think for the most part, most of my clients, my buyers know that I set this expectation up front that I am not your retail loan officer, your 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, 9 to 6 guy.
Yeah.
I am there before and I'm there after, but there's limitations. So what I like to explain to my clients is that I put my work cell phone away at 8 o'clock at night. That is the latest that I have my phone in my pocket, and then after that, I put it to do not disturb, and I put it pretty much away for the rest of the day. And so that is just an expectation that I have set for myself that. Anytime after that, it is really just family time. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that I'm going to answer a phone call during dinner time. No, that I won't. But
Boundaries.
correct, boundaries. But again, if I do see an email, a text, or a missed call from the night before that I wasn't able to get to on time, and then at an appropriate time the next day, just filling the client out. It could be as early as 7. If I feel like they're responding, or they're texting me at 7, then it's reciprocal. Then I'll text them or call them back around 7 o'clock in the morning, and it works out. I mean, if it works out for me, if it works out for the client, then it's going to work out for me. So, but nevertheless, I work the 7 days a week. So, sometimes I get asked like, well, why do you work the 7 days a week? And to me, it's like, well, when I say I work 7 days a week, I'm not in the office here in my chair for, the entire 7 days. What I mean by that is if I get a phone call from a potential client, title company, anybody in general, and in our field of expertise, then I will take that phone call, because all it is maybe just 2, 3, 4, maybe at the most 5-minute phone call. If it's going to take anything after that, then I'll set again expectations and boundaries with the person on the phone. So
those are great takeaways, because I've personally struggled with that myself as well, where I recently have had to put my phone on do not disturb, because there'd be times where, yeah, I'm out of work, but my mind's still at work. And I found myself maybe not being as present as I really should be. So then I realized, hey, wait a minute, do not disturb, set some boundaries, because as you and I both know, this business can consume us, right? So if we don't set those boundaries, the 8 o'clocks and the do not disturbs, then it could really take a toll. So I think that is amazing takeaways for a lot of our viewers that maybe struggle with, having that balance of work life or family life or personal life. And You know, that is something that entrepreneurs also struggle with. With that being said, do you believe in balance? Some people say, no, I don't believe in balance. I was talking to one of my, I would say, mentor coaches. He says, Scott, when you're in scale mode, don't think you're going to have balance because you're all in on the scale where there's something that's got to get sacrificed or to pay the price. So I think that you had some very great takeaways on that, on setting boundaries. Because like I said, I found myself not being present when I didn't set those boundaries. So,
You're right. And, one thing that I, didn't touch on just yet is it really does depend on the time of the year, right? The current time that you're in, because sometimes, let's just say that we have 5 escrows open. There's been often times when that was the case and I was forgetting to eat. Right, I was forgetting to eat, and then by the time that I checked my time, my watch, my cell phone, it was 7 o'clock at night, and I still been in the office from 7 to 7 or 8 to 7. And I didn't realize that I hadn't eaten at all throughout the day, and then I'm past the usual time that I'm usually in the office. So sometimes, yes, it's a bittersweet moment that sweet in the sense that you're busy, and of course you have clients, you have business, you're gonna have money coming in, but bitter sometimes too because you forget that you haven't ate, and then there's a family. For me, I have 3 kids waiting for me at home, right, and a wife that they're waiting for me, and I just lose track of time, but. That's part of, I guess, just showing how dedicated we can be to our job sometimes, that we're just ultra focused.
Yeah.
And we block, our peripherals. And we just, focus on the mindset of like helping out the clients. Taking one task away, taking another task away. Yeah. Once you take that task away, taking the other task away.
Yeah.
So the work-life balance is definitely needs to be there, but sometimes we want it to be a certain way. And sometimes it doesn't come out that way, but I do really try to give some family time on the weekends for sure. And even sometimes during the week, we go on walks, we watch movies together, we have dinner together, and so on and so forth.
Would you consider your family your why?
My family is 100% the why.
Love it.
I need to work, I need to produce, I need to be the best worker, performer that I can in order to give my family what they need. At the very least, food on the table. And of course, what I like to do is entertainment. I really like to go out, whether it's on a cruise, whether it's a vacation, exactly. Yeah. Whether it's a vacation in Mexico, right? That's another why too.
Yeah, no, 100%. You mentioned throughout the grind, there'll be times where you're not eating per se. How important is health for Sal? And taking care of yourself during this entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, health. And I tell this to my wife all the time that health comes first. Without health, we're not ourselves. And if we're not ourselves, we can't take care of the ones we love, right? So yes, eating well is definitely something that we should all, invest some time, right? Like what to eat, what not to eat, what we're eating too much of, what we're not eating enough of, because, our body reacts to the food that we intake, right? And so if you're eating well and you're eating how you're supposed to, then you feel great. And then, of course, the outcome, whatever it is that you're doing, is going to be it's going to be a reflection of how you feel.
Right. Would you say health is more important than wealth?
100%. Because I can be as as healthy as a horse and be let's just say in poverty, but I'd be healthy. And then again, money to from my understanding can't buy everything, especially health.
Right.
I can be at the bedside of a sick family member. And it doesn't matter how much money I can throw at the doctor or at the nurse. If they can't fix the issue, then they can't fix the issue. Yeah. So definitely health over wealth. Yes.
That's a lot of wisdom, guys, to take away from. Sal, you're just dropping nugget after nugget. And as I want to kind of even get a little bit deeper here, what would you say in the last 5 or 10 years have been some of Sal's biggest challenges? What are some challenges maybe on the professional workspace that are some challenges? Maybe if you can share with maybe some personal challenges that you've had to overcome. Reason why I'm asking, because we all have challenges and we all have things. And if the viewers can get a takeaway of just how to overcome challenges, can you maybe share us any challenges that you've had to overcome?
Yeah, yeah, of course. So I say one of the biggest challenges is well, let me throw two out there. One of them is always trying to strive to be a better employee, a better worker in your career, right? So I always strive to be the best that I can, and it's not to show off. It's just it's me challenging myself.
Love it.
And so I feel like at one point or another in my career with Wells Fargo, I hit a cap. I felt like I was kind of like at a dead end. I couldn't move any further or faster the way that I wanted it. And so I think that's why I veered towards and looked towards the real estate industry, right? The mortgage industry. So that was one, is just always just trying to be better at what I'm doing.
Did you feel you hit a glass ceiling, is what they call it in corporate America?
Yes, correct. Yeah, exactly. The glass ceiling, I feel like it's just, there was no way of getting through it at that point in time. And I don't blame the company for it. I think COVID, when COVID hit, it took a toll on a lot of companies, and especially in the banking world. They were no longer rehiring. If you left the company, they were no longer refilling that position out. So I think that hindered me from getting promoted or just moving up in the company. So and then the second challenge is on a personal level with my family. You're a dad, I'm a dad,
Yep.
and oftentimes we kind of question ourselves. I know I'm not sure about you, but I do. And I always ask myself, what can I be doing better as a father and as a husband? And so, oftentimes we weren't born with the book that says, hey, Sal, read this chapter if you have this problem, right?
100%.
And so we have to take it upon ourselves based off experience, where we know where to navigate the ship, so to speak, right? Your home and everything involved in your home, which is your family. We need to learn how to navigate this ship as we experience this thing so-called life, right? And so if something happens, sometimes when I feel like I could have done something better or differently, I kind of do beat myself up for it, but it makes me stronger. It makes me a better father and a better husband when we know that there was a better area of opportunity.
You feel you're hard on yourself?
At times I do, when that scenario happened. At times I do, but it's not until the day after or a few days after where I'm like, well, it was inevitable. Like, I did the best that I could do. So at that time, yes, I am a little hard on myself. Sometimes I can't sleep at night for that day, right? Whatever might have happened, but the next day I'm clear because I know that it was the best that I could have done, and I did it to the best of my ability.
And you could live with that,
And
right?
I can live with
yeah,
that.
100%. Wow, that's pretty amazing that you're able to kind of share that vulnerability as well. And I could completely identify. I'm like that myself. I constantly ask, what can I be doing better? As a husband, as a father, as a broker, as a business owner, as a business partner, and it's funny that you think the same as well. And sometimes I believe that we are doing good enough, but we're so hard on ourselves, and we feel like we're behind, but in reality, we're doing a fantastic job. And I mean, from what I see, you're doing an amazing job as a husband, as a father, as a business owner, as a loan officer. You're definitely doing an amazing job. And, I feel sometimes I'm behind with things, or I'm not doing good enough. And I don't know, sometimes I struggle. Is that an overachiever? Would you consider yourself maybe an overachiever because you're doing so much, but you still feel like, what could I be doing better? And you keep asking yourself that. So is that overachieving?
That's a great question. And I want to say yes, for this reason, is that I do have, thankfully, some really close friends and family members that do tell me that I'm doing a really good job, again, in my career path.
So you have a good support system.
I really do.
Beautiful.
And so I do consider myself an overachiever because I'm being told that I'm overachiever, right? But at the same time, I'm not going to let that stop me from, again, being a better loan officer, being a better dad, and
You
a
know
better
your
husband.
potential.
Yes. I want to keep getting better and better and better.
Wow. And that's a growth mindset and, versus a fixed mindset. And that's what attracts me to, being in business with you and keeping good people in my corner is positive mindsets, but, also someone that is always wanting to continue to grow. And, as humble as you are, I could tell that you just constantly are looking for ways to improve yourself. So it's just amazing to watch, from an outsider standpoint. We touched on you have a great support system, and we touched on your why, which leads me to a question I always like asking my guests is, Sal, do you feel with life, is it about the destination or is it about the journey or maybe a little bit of both? What's it about for you?
It's definitely both.
Okay.
And I'm so glad that you brought that up. And I haven't heard you ask that before, but let's start with the journey. So the journey, to me, it's very important because what happens right now, it's going to determine what happens a minute from now and an hour from now. But also, I'm a true believer that we should do, this is just me though, we should do what we want to do and what we like to do like now. Whether it's a physical or a money situation, do it now. Because unlike some other people that say, oh, well, I want to really work hard and then, retire really wealthy and then, go on from there. Well, to me, it's like, I feel great right now. I'm 39. I feel better than when I did believe it or
Just
not,
turned
in my
39.
late 20s.
Yeah.
I feel better than what I did in my late 20s. And so if I can enjoy life more the way I am now and do the things that I want to do eventually when I retire, but if I'm able to do them now, why not?
Yeah.
Right. But part of our journey does lead to our destination, right? Because whatever we do now is going to determine our destination. So, yes, my destination, of course, I do have a 5-year plan. I have a 10-year plan, and then I have, a 15-year plan, and so on and so forth. And so how to get to these plans is part of navigating or our journey there, right? So again, it's every day of what I do is going to lead me to my destination.
I love that. A little bit about both. And yeah, because if it was all about the destination, why would Kobe go back for more rings? Tom Brady go back for more Super Bowls? You did arrive at that destination, but it is about the journey. And being in the journey, there's always going to be setbacks and pitfalls and things that, we don't expect that just hit us in the face. And I feel truly there's no light without dark. I feel that you have to be in the summit before you can reach the mountaintop peak there. So even if you're in the journey and you have setbacks and things are just not going your way, are you still enjoying the journey at that point too? Because you take the good with the bad?
Yes, and I am so blessed that I have, I don't know where I got this from, but just a really positive mindset.
Yeah, I see that.
Every time that I hit a roadblock,
Yeah.
I don't ask, okay, what do I do now? I pretty much say, hey, this is what I need to do to overcome it. Right? I'm not dwelling on it. Stuff happens, life happens, right? And yeah, we do get curveballs thrown at us, but it's not a time for me specifically to just curl up on a ball and just go away, right?
Yeah.
Hide from the situation. To me, it's like, okay, these are the cards that are dealt to me. How am I going to win the hand? That's how I play it.
Love it. Love it. And with that comes a lot of stress. So how do you manage that to keep and protect such a positive mindset when there's a lot of stresses in life, especially in our business? How do you keep a positive mindset when there's a lot of stress or things aren't going your way? How do you keep that mindset?
Ooh, that's a bigger question than you think when you're asking me.
Yeah.
So one, I want to say it starts in the beginning of the day, and it's just having that time to go to the gym, just, release any stress, any negative things that might be in my mind, right? Just to, go out there and do my thing, right?
So gym's one.
Gym's one.
Okay.
And then the other one is always telling yourself that it could be worse. People do have it worse out there, and I'm just blessed to know that. I know it sucks to say it because people do go through some hard times, but it's because that I know that people go through worse times than I do, that I have it good. No matter what, I have it good. And so just continue on telling myself that people have it worse, and just to figure it out one way or another is another way to overcome whatever stressful situation we're in. Now, you and I dealt together with a file that was, in a way, very stressful, to say the least.
Right.
And, I'm not going to lie. It was a very long time since I wasn't catching up on some sleep because of it. And it wasn't because I was afraid that the file might fall apart. I was afraid that I might have not given it my all. One way or another, I didn't give it my all to save that situation.
Interesting, because from outsider, I saw you how much you were in that thing. You, to me, gave it all and some.
Yeah.
So
and so that's the mentality that I have, right? It's like, yes, it's a stressful situation, but we're gonna overcome it one way or another. We're gonna overcome it.
Wow. Guys, that is very powerful. And what a takeaway I got from Sal on that too is when he says, you know what? Someone else may have it harder than myself. He operates off gratitude. You operate off gratitude. You're grateful the position that you're in. You're grateful for your family. You're grateful for your business. So I think that's why you have an abundance of blessings too, is because you're very grateful. And, gratitude and moving off gratitude, I feel is a fueler, and it pushes me too, because I'm the same. I'm very grateful for what I have and where I'm at, and I would never complain, seeing that I have, in a position where I'm in, and people are in a less fortunate position. So, thank you for even sharing that, because that helps with me. As we're kind of, getting to the end of this, I'm just, curious as I'm digging in a little bit more. You mentioned that file kept you up at night. Maybe on a macro level, is there anything that keeps Sal up at night?
I would say that would be like on certain occasions, something that I have maybe no control of, something happened to the kids at school or something of that magnitude. Maybe, the wife had a really hard time at work and she's stressing out. And
so you're thinking of others.
Yeah, of others, not myself. But myself, my conscience just gets cleared. And it's so funny because oftentimes I'm going a little off topic, but people have seen me upset. They see me upset for no longer than 5 minutes, and they're like, what happened to the angry Sal? And I just let it go. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, life goes on. But no, I do think about others, and I think that's probably the one thing that does and will keep me up at night is because it's out of my control, right? It's not dealing with me. It's dealing with somebody else that's going through a hard time. And so that I'm trying to figure out at night, that's when our minds start to wander, right? What can I do to help them out?
Because as a man, you want to take the pain on. You want, hey, inflict it on me, not my child. That is right. Correct. And the fact that we cannot control that can be, I guess, keep you up at night. It'd be a little bit frustrating.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, correct.
No, that was powerful. And just, again, it goes down to just, you're very selfless. You're very selfless, Sal. And that's one thing that, we all notice around here. You're a team player. You treat everyone like family, and, we can appreciate that personality of yours. I know we're going on 50 minutes, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. Is there any last words of wisdom? You've already given us a lot. We touched on, gratitude, mindset, work ethic. You bring a lot to the table, Sal. Yeah. And, is there anything last that you want to leave our viewers?
Yeah, well, let's just touch on what you just said. It is true. I am a team player, but I'm a team player because I love people. I love, being around people. And I know that can sound a little corny, but, without you and I, without other people around here, we wouldn't be humans, plural, right? We wouldn't coexist, so to speak. So to me, being a team player, it's a satisfaction that I get within knowing that I've helped out, a colleague of mine, someone out on the street, right? It's being a team player, right? If I see something that needs fixing, for example, we're walking out of this room, the lights are on, I'm gonna flick the switch off. That's just what I do. That's how I was raised. That's who I am.
A female agent just came in. You helped her carry down the open house signs.
Exactly. Yeah. And again, excuse my language. I'm not trying to be an ass kisser, but if I was in the need of of some kind of help, whether it's taking those signs out because one, I'm extremely hot, I'm tired, or I'm just not feeling it, and having someone just do it for me, that could have made my day. I don't know. And so I want, if I'm able to, I'm gonna provide that level of friendship, commitment, service to those around me. It's
Wow.
I find it peaceful in me.
Wow. I mean, today was just amazing. And this really helps me to kind of go on a deeper level with you, Sal, and understand you more. And it just validates to me, what kind of amazing business partner I have. Love being around you, watching what you bring to the table. And I'm just honored to be in business with you, to call you my friend, to have you on this guest. And sky's the limit on where we're going to go. We've just kind of gotten together, in the last year or so. And, it's just awesome to have these conversations because I learn too. I know our viewers are going to learn. You bring a tremendous amount of value to the table, Sal, and thank you so much for sharing it with me and the world. And we got to do this again.
No, I appreciate you having me. And I just want to give you kudos for, not only having me here on board with the team, but also just having me here. This is a great conversation. So thank you. And,
wonderful.
Kudos to you too. You're doing a great job. And, I just look forward to the future here in the business with you.
Yep. We're going to smash it. And
Let's do it.
Yeah. Thank you again, Sal.
Thanks, Scott.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Man, great.